what I'd like to do in this session is introduce a fourth variation of the breath practice. So the first one we looked at on the first evening is the full body breath practice, just noticing sensations anywhere in the body when we're breathing. This is particularly good for relaxation. Then yesterday we looked at the breath practice in the area of the abdomen, the rising and falling of the abdomen as we breathe. This is particularly good for stabilizing our attention. The one we've been looking at today is focusing at the entrance of the nostrils. So again, bringing the attention up, smaller object. This is particularly good for clarity. And the practice I'd like to introduce now is to focus on the rhythm of our breath. And this is going to be particularly useful for the practices that we're going to be doing tomorrow and the next day. That is, observing the mind and resting in awareness. And this practice also can be very good for particularly emphasizing relaxation as a sort of an alternative to the full body breath practice. So with noticing the rhythm of the breath, it's very straightforward, is just notice whether your breath, the rhythm of your breath is long or short, deep or shallow, regular or irregular, without, of course, modifying it in any way. You may have noticed that when we are observing the breath, we may actually manipulate it, because actually this is the same in every day in our life. If there's something we can control, we like to control it. So similarly, the breath is something that we can control, so we can have a tendency to control it. So also here in this practice, we're not trying to make our breath rhythmic or shallow or anything. We're just observing whatever it's doing and just noticing the rhythm of the breath. And this, because we tend to then have a very expansive sort of focus, then this is particularly good also for relaxation. And for the next 2 days, it can be very helpful as using it as what's called an anchor for those practices, and I'll talk more about how to do that tomorrow and the next day. So let's start with a 20-minute practice, and we're just going to observe the rhythm of our breath. setting the body into a state of relaxation, stillness, and vigilance. Relaxing more deeply with each out-breath. And with each out-breath, letting go of any thoughts that may have arisen, happily releasing them. Simply allowing the mind to come to rest in the present moment. And simply become aware of the rhythm of your breath. Noticing if it's long or short, deep or shallow, regular or irregular. Without trying to modify the breath in any way. Paying close attention to the rhythm of the breath, noticing how it changes over time, without trying to modify it in any way. There's a sutra from the Pali tradition, very well known sutra called the Anapanasati Sutra, or the Mindfulness of Breathing Sutra. And there's a very well known verse from that sutra that says, breathing in long, one knows, I breathe in long. Breathing out long, one knows, I breathe out long. Breathing in short, one knows, I breathe in short. Breathing out short, one knows, I breathe out short. One trains thus, I shall breathe in, experiencing the whole body. I shall breathe out, experiencing the whole body. I shall breathe in, calming the composite of the body. I shall breathe out, calming the composite of the body. Thus one trains. So these 4 lines of this verse, one way of understanding them is in terms of the 4 phases we go through in this mindfulness of breathing practice. In the first phase of practice, it talks about breathing in long. So that's what we tend to notice at the initial phase of this breath practice, is that actually our breathing is quite coarse, quite irregular, and quite long in duration, each breath, and often quite a lot of volume. And then as we get into the breath practice and our mind settles down and our breathing settles down, we get to the next stage of practice, which is breathing in short. So this is in the next stage of practice where the volume also the breath gets more subtle. That not only the duration of the breath gets shorter, but the volume, the amount of air we're breathing on each breath gets less. And the breathing gets more rhythmic. Here it tends to be very irregular. And the next, so that was breathing in short, one knows, I breathe in short. Then the next part of the verse said, one trains thus, I shall breathe in, experiencing the whole body. I shall breathe out, experiencing the whole body. So experiencing the whole body one way of understanding that is in terms of experiencing the whole body, but another way of understanding this, the whole body, it means the whole body of the breath, meaning that we are focused on the whole